Hi guys, today I've got another pregnancy related video for you, and today I'm going to be comparing the 20-week scan in the UK versus in Sweden. So I've been lucky enough to have two 20-week scans, one in the UK before I left at 19 weeks and 1 day, and one in Sweden when I was around 22 weeks. Now I had two on the basis that obviously the one in the UK, they wanted to make sure that my baby was nice and healthy before I flew and moved and had a very stressful experience. And they didn't want me to obviously be worrying that the baby wasn't safe or wasn't healthy. And then I also had one done in Sweden because they themselves wanted to check the baby for themselves for their own notes to make sure that they were happy with the baby and how it was progressing and so on and so forth. So I've had two, and I thought I would share with you the two different experiences that I had. And I'm also going to explain to you exactly what happens in your 20-week scan, because it is a big one. It's the abnormality scan and it can be quite nerve-wracking. I just thought I'd like to share with you exactly what they look for, and it's just a really lovely experience actually, because you get to see your baby again, and the difference between 12 weeks and 20 weeks is massive. The size of your baby has grown so much, and it's just really lovely to see. If you are new to my channel and you like beauty, fashion, lifestyle videos, like mummy videos, I'm going to be a mum for the first time, so I'm doing lots of like updates in regards to that as well, then please do hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to reach 1,000, so please help me, and I'd love to have you back. I'd love to have you part of my journey. So getting straight on in, so if you're going to have a 20-week scan, the things that they are looking for are, so one of the things that they definitely check are like organs. So they check the kidneys, bladder, liver, heart, brain, you know, lots of different areas. They check like make sure the two compartments of the brain are growing. They check the bladder to see if there's wee inside, because if there is wee, then it shows that the kidneys are actually working. They show the kidneys to show that they're in the right place as well. The diaphragm sits in the right place. They also check the spine of the baby to make sure that's obviously forming really nicely. That's a really obvious one to see. They measure the head from like here to here and here, ear to ear as well, just to make sure that's growing in the right growing at the right rate as well. They check the hands and the feet and the arms and the legs. They measure the femur to make sure that that's growing at a good rate as well, and they just look at the face as well to make sure there's nothing going on, there's no cleft lip or anything, and that everything is in the right place. So there's a lot of things that they look for, and they are quite thorough, and I found that they were thorough in both the UK and in Sweden. So I'm going to start off with where you actually go for your scan in terms of differences between Sweden and the UK. Now in the UK, I always went for my scans in hospital. I always went to the hospital in which I was registered at to give birth, and that is where they did all my scans. It's obviously a hospital, so it's quite clinical. You kind of just get put in a waiting room. You have all the doctors and nurses rushing around you. It's quite a busy place. There's very busy. The NHS is obviously very overworked, so there's quite a few people waiting. That was quite one of the biggest differences that I noticed straight away, because in Sweden you don't go to hospital to have your scans, you go to an actual scan centre for pregnant people. It's like a completely different location. It's just related to scans, and when you walk in you have like a really warm, inviting area that you can, like waiting room and stuff like that. Like the bathroom had candles in it. It was more like a spa visit than than going for a scan, which was something that I thought wow, this is kind of felt like I was going private, in like a private hospital or something. It was very friendly, warm, cozy, and that was one of the main differences that I noticed straight away between the UK and Sweden, was how they treated the process. It was like that pregnancy should be calm and nice and that sort of thing, and it was really lovely just to sit in a nice warm cozy waiting room for the scan. Now with the UK you get like a time slot, and you get that the same as Sweden. You get a time. I must say in the UK they always ran late, and in Sweden they've always been exactly on time. Going into the actual room, obviously they all have the same equipment, they have the same scan equipment and all that sort of thing, so they were exactly the same. In the UK, when we had our scan, the lady said to us that she wasn't going to speak to us as she did the checks, so that she could make sure everything was fine, and so that she didn't get I guess, what's the word, distracted by talking. So it was kind of like we didn't really know what she was looking at. Sometimes it's very hard with the scan to see exactly what it is that they're seeing. So we would have sort of sat there for quite a while she did all the checks. And then in the end she said, oh, everything's fine, everything looks good, la da 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 da. In Sweden it was like the complete opposite. The scan lady was like, okay, so here is the brain and this is what's happening in the brain. You can see here is this sort of side of the brain and this is this side of the brain, and it is measuring from about, it was like 5 centimeters from like ear to ear and from back to back. And she was explaining to us everything. She's like, as you can see here, these are the 2 kidneys and the bladder is full, which means that the kidneys are working. You can see the heart, you can see the 4 chambers, you can see the spine. She was very, very informative of exactly what she was looking at and exactly what she was measuring, which to me was really, really nice and helpful. And I did actually prefer it that way, because you want to make sure that everything is okay, obviously, and you also want to know exactly what they're looking at. I mean, I know that it's really, you know, they just want to make sure that your baby is healthy, and that's the most important thing. But I found it really, really helpful to be told exactly what they were looking at and exactly what they were looking for in regards to the abnormality and that sort of thing, and how they see if it is got an abnormality as well. Looking at the face, she was like, as you can see, his lip looks completely normal, little nose, 2 eyes, blah, you know, basically checking everything. They looked at the ear, you know, all that sort of thing, and it was just really, really nice to be explained exactly what was going on. Now in the UK we got some photos taken, and that is the same in Sweden. We didn't get any actually taken in Sweden because we'd already had them in the UK. We, you know, it looked pretty much the same, so we didn't have any. But you have to pay for them in the UK and in Sweden, and they're around the same sort of price. The difference in Sweden is that you can get like a CD made, not a CD, like a DVD made, or a film of the actual baby if you wish as well, and you can pay for that. I think it was like £15 or something, and you could get an actual video of your baby if you wanted to. Another major difference is that in the UK you can't film anything in the scan rooms. Just there's lots of signs saying do not film, do not have your phone out, blah blah blah. But in Sweden there's a sign saying if you want to film and you want to take photos, then just ask whoever's doing your scan to get permission, and that should be absolutely fine. So that was another big difference between the UK and Sweden, was that you can actually film in Sweden but you can't in the UK. After the scan in the UK you get sent back into the waiting room, and the scan practitioner will write up your notes and then come back out and give them to you. In Sweden it was completely different. We were left in the room with all this wonderful equipment around us. They're very, very trusting here in Sweden, with a big picture of our baby up on the screen, so we could just have a nice look at our baby and just have some time together sort of looking at our baby, which I found really, really nice. I was able to take a photo of the screen, and it was just a really nice sort of relaxing experience. She then came back and said, I put that all on your notes now, so you're free to go whenever you're ready. And it was just really, really nice and relaxing. So that is one of the biggest difference I think that I have found so far between the UK and Sweden, is that Sweden is so much more sort of relaxed and trusting, and you know, they sort of really, really want to give you time to enjoy the experience, rather than it just being like a clinical sort of procedure that has to be done to make sure your baby is safe. Which isn't, you know, if you're having one in the UK, you're going to get exactly the same treatment. You know, you're going to get, you know, your baby's going to be checked to make sure it's fine, and if there's anything wrong, you're going to get really good treatment in order to help that. And that's the same in Sweden as well. There's just small differences that I found, that it's just that Sweden is just a little bit more warmer towards people than the UK. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some insight. Let me know below if you've had any different experiences, or if you found that maybe what I've said is completely different to your experiences. Do let me know below. Let me know any other videos you'd like me to do, and please do hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and I will see you in my next video. See you later.